Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Iraq, Myanmar, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, and Vietnam, China, and then from Africa like Nigeria, Tunis, Ivory Coast, Kenya, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, South Africa, Libya. All of total countries is 26. The profession of participant, domination from professional, about 568 people, and then next student, like in high school or college, 475 people, and the last academician, like a teacher and lecture, about 228 people. Also, we are very much grateful for the privilege for learn from 12 impactful speakers. As follow, Dr. Sergio Tesaris from Italy, Dr. Sugimoto from Japan, Professor Ji-hyun Park from South Korea, Kang Peng from Cambodia, and Professor Vincent, Dr. Abe, Mr. Sunaryono, Mr. Wahid, Miss Alfi, and Mr. Chandra Bagas from Indonesia. We are looking forward to their wonderful presentation. All participants who join until the end of the session will receive a link to confirm their attendance and receive an electronic certificate. The electronic certificate will be given for each webinar per day, signed by the main speaker. So if all participants take a part in all activities in a row, they will get 3 certificates. Well, I don't want to take much more on behalf of the seminar organizer. Welcome. It's great to see you. It's great to see so many of you here. So stay healthy and safe. Enjoy the webinar. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, sir, for the briefing of this activity. Now we move on the next agenda. We would like to invite the honor from Director of SW Indonesia, Mr. Taufi'i, SAMSI, to deliver his opening remarks and officially open this seminar. The floor is yours, sir.
The Honorable Dr. Sergio, Professor Park, Mr. Sugimoto, Professor Vincent, Dr. Abi Susanto, distinguished Mr. Sunaryono MCom, the Chairman of the committee, lecturer and researcher of Widya Utama Institute of Informatic and Computer Management, student and all speaker and conference participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. First of all, let's thank to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty, for blessing and guiding us to the right path, and for granting all means and opportunities to gather here to attend this very meaningful occasion. On behalf of the Widya Utama Institute of Informatic and Computer Management, usually we call SWU, we are greatly honored and pleased to welcome you all to the seminar, to the International Conference of Information and Technology and Management and Business. The theme is the conference is technology trends that are shaping the future. As we know, artificial intelligence and cloud technology has become an issue which is dynamic, progressive, and always worth discussing. Experts and practitioners have always been very keen on conducting both academic discussion and research in order to find new ideas, strategies, methods, approach, and paradigm in to our better life. However, at the same time, in this complex field, there are specific challenges facing artificial intelligence, which include a lack of transparency and interpretability in decision making, issues of data quality and potential bias, safety and security implication, consideration regarding accountability. To raise awareness of the paradigm in understanding artificial intelligence and cloud technology, as we hold this conference to offer you a unique opportunity to share ideas and the experience and to discuss evolving paradigm in artificial intelligence and cloud, which we definitely hope the result in the improved knowledge and experience. We would also like extend our gratitude especially to Dr. Sergio Tesaris from Free University of Bolzania, Italy, Mrs. Nur Alfi Ekowati Eskom MSc from SWU, Mrs. Novita Setianti SE MAK AKCA from SWU, Mr. Chandra Bagas Pambuti Eskom as a practitioner in content creator, Haj Kyoiricho Sugimoto MA from CCIC Japan, Professor Vincent Didik Wit Arianto MBA PhD from Dianuswantoro University, Mr. Sunaryono MCom from SWU, Kang Katia and Peng Li Hiang, SWU overseas student from Cambodia, Professor Ji Yung Park from Yongsan University, Dr. Renat Abe Susanto, MSc from Diponegoro University, Mr. Abdul Wahid, usually called Mas Wahid, he is a well-known automotive content creator, who have accepted our invitation to become the invited speakers of today's conference. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, allow me on behalf of this big family of SWU to wish you a fruitful and pleasant international conference. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inspiring remark, Mr. Sofi. Now, I'd like to request Mr. Sunaryono and Mr. Sofi, so we can get the screenshot. Operator, ready? All right, I will count to 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Big smile. Thank you very much. Today is the first day in the webinar series with the topic of logic and artificial intelligence, digital marketing and creator. We are delighted to have not one, but 4 incredible speakers that will share their invaluable knowledge and insights into logic and AI, digital marketing, and creator. The first is Dr. Sergio Tesaris from Free University of Bolzano, Italy. Hello, Dr. Tesaris, Sergio Tesaris. We're glad to have you here. The second is Nur Alfi Ekowati Eskom MSc, the lecturer and software developer from SBU Indonesia. Hello, how are you? Thank you for making time. The third is Novita Setianti, SEMAKAKCA, the Vice Director and Lecturer of SWU Indonesia. The last one is Chandra Bagus, the Content Creator and Business Owner. Thank you to the following organization where our speakers come from. Before we begin, allow me to read the instruction for all participants. First, if you are not presenting or asking questions to the speakers, please mute your audio all the time. Second, this webinar will be recorded, so feel free to turn on or off your video. Third, we have sent you the virtual background for the webinar series, so please feel free to use it as your background. The fourth, we provide free certificates to all participants. To receive this, you need to fill out your details and some feedback for us through the link that will be shared at the end of today's event. Fifth, if you would like to ask questions to the speaker, please do not write in the chat box. Once again, do not write in the chat box. We have provided a link to collect all questions you can see in the chat box, and we will read them after the presentation. Or you can join our interactive Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you are using laptop or PC, please click reaction logo and click the reaction. Today's seminar is part of the 3-day webinar series from Saturday to Tuesday, 9 March, so stay tuned with us. And don't forget to subscribe our official YouTube channel at Stimik Widya Utama. Well, we come to the first session. We have Dr. Sergio Tesaris from Free University of Bolzano, Italy, that will present about logic and artificial intelligence. A little semantics goes a long way. Before we start, allow me to read the CV. Dr. Sergio is an assistant professor at the KRDB Research Center for Knowledge and Data, Faculty of Computer Science. His research focuses on semantics for data access and process management. His main research areas are data and process, intelligent data access, and semantics technology. Dr. Sergio, you have 45 minutes for presenting the material. Without further ado, let's welcome our first speaker, Dr. Sergio Tesaris. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Okay, let me share my presentation. Hello, everybody. I'm Sergio Tesaris and from Bolzano, which is a little town, in the Alps, right in the middle of Europe. I'm gonna talk you about the relation between logic and AI, not from a formal point of view. I try to be as descriptive as possible, and I'm trying to give you an introduction that I hope will convince you that nowadays logic has a big role to play in the field of artificial intelligence, and I'll demonstrate that with a few examples that that come from my experience in working with semantic technology, and I'll be clear what semantic technology are. So the slides I'm presenting are available online, so you can if you scan the QR code, you see it here. You'll get a link to the slide, and I ask the management of the chat to share the link that I shared beforehand. So the title is Logic and AI, and the subtitles is A Little Semantic Goes a Long Way, which is a slogan that has been quite popular in the semantic web years ago. And I will explain why is a good slogan and why it's been so popular. So let's start my talk by giving you an idea first of what logic is. Logic is nothing but a formal language, a language for describing, for modeling world. But the interesting about it is that it's not just have a language, so a syntax, but also an attached meaning that is a semantics. There are different ways of providing semantics for a logic, and the main two are one model theoretic, that is you have formula of your written in your language, and then you can say whether these formula are true or false according to some structure that describes the underlying models of your logic. So, for example, if you are talking about numbers, the underlying structure are, for example, the natural numbers of the real numbers. Another way is a proof theoretic way. That is, you describe by means of rules what kind of deduction you can derive from your formula. To give just a quick example, I'm just showing you what is propositional logic, is what one of the simplest logic. Here you don't really need to understand all the details. It's just a way of showing what I'm talking about. Propositional logic is the logic of true and false, so Boolean algebra. You start with a set of variables that can be true and false, and then you construct formula using the usual connectible logic: conjunction, disjunction, negation, implication, and double implication. So this is what I was referring to for as the syntax of the language, and then how you provide meaning for the language. I was telling you that there are two different ways. One is model theoretic way, that is you have an underlying structure, and for the propositional logic, the underlying structure is just an assignment that tells you which of the variables are true or false. So it's a function that assigns the true or false to the different variable. And then the semantics of it depends on the actual construct. So a variable is true if and only if its assignment is true. The conjunction of two formula true if and only if the two conjunction are true, and so on and so forth. So this is not important. It's just to have a flavor of what I mean by semantics in model theoretic way. The other way is proof theoretic. Proof theoretic tell you how to derive new facts from the given from the given information. So, for example, here the first one simply tells you that if you have a formula, and you can also derive the fact that for the first formula is true that the negation of formula is valid, and also the other part of the formula. So it's not important what the rules are, because it depends a lot on what you are doing with this logic. But the important point is that you can from the formula that in this system you can derive new information. Okay. Now, first question is what is logic? The second is what's AI? There are several definitions of AI, and I took the words from one of the best research in AI, wrote several books, And I take his approach by considering what is normally referred to weak AI. So we are not usually concerned with building an intelligent system that can solve any task, but usually we are focusing on a specific activity, a specific task. So we are devising methodology, techniques for solving specific tasks in an intelligent way. That is in a way that a human being, an intelligent being, would try to solve. By the way, if you get the online version of my presentation, most of the reference I'm putting in, they are hyperlinks, so you can actually see the original documents that I'm referring to. So AI and logic were really started together. So AI was really influenced by logic at the beginning. And the main idea of using AI was to try to understand and formalize the common sense reasoning. So the kind of reasoning that intelligent beings, humans, that were the ones that were used as modeling for AI, were employing. And this influenced both AI, in the sense that logic was used for trying to model intelligent behavior, but also the other way around. So AI phenomenon, so the way intelligent beings were trying to solve problems, were influencing also the kind of logic, the kind of formalism that people were studying and developing. And this was often called common sense reasoning. And from this kind of branch started a whole series of studies in logic formalisms that were able to model things like default reasoning, so aspects of reality that we give as new knowledge will influence the knowledge representation, so try to represent the information that we use problem, and in particular from knowledge representation started in the 90s, in the late 90s, all the work about semantic web, which heavily influenced the way that we share knowledge on the web nowadays. So nowadays, one of the probably, if you are interested in the AI, if you follow AI, you probably realized that nowadays AI is seen as a synonym of machine learning. So machine learning is definitely a big player. So the techniques devised for machine learning is definitely a big player, probably the most relevant player in the field of AI, due to the really huge success that were provided in the last few years, both in the more data-oriented machine learning, for example, by supervised learning, but also by the rise of techniques by which you can train a machine, train algorithms for solving problems that you cannot control completely, for example, by reinforcement learning. So in this area, you can see the advances of machines that are able to play chess, or, for example, the huge steps that research teams did in playing online games. And from this consideration comes the question is still logic relevant for AI? And or is just one thing of the past? So my thesis is that logic has still a few cards to play and is really relevant for AI. Now, there are threats for the adoption of logic as a formal structure for approaching AI problem. One is scalability. So one of the main differences between machine learning approach to AI and logic approach to AI is a deployment time. So usually for building a machine, an algorithm that solve relevant problems, solve a task using machine learning, you first build a model, spend a lot of time for training the model, for tuning the parameters of your model, and so on and so forth. But once you have done that, and usually this may take also weeks or months of work, but once this has been trained, the deployment is really efficient in the sense that the answer that system gives you, for example, for forecasting a trend in the stock market or for reacting to the road condition in a self-driving vehicle are really fast. Logic is a little bit different, because the way you model your problem is by means of a set of formula, and then reasoning with this formula usually is very complex and computationally complex and intense. So this is one of the problems, and we'll see how the logic community reacted to this. The second one is the learning barrier. For writing and for describing a task by means of logics, people need to know a big deal, or how this logic and how it works, how it's represented, and what are the way you can use it. And this, while in the other way, machine learning techniques rely on algorithms for training specific models. There are different models according to the kind of technique you employ, but actually you don't need a knowledge of the domain and of the specific formalism for building models. And this comes us as a university for training. So you need to train people for using logic, and usually the people that know how to use logic, they are not the domain expert, and this connection between the two community is one of the big problems of adapting logic for solving problems. So a little semantic goes a long way. Where is coming from? This comes from early talk by Jim Handler, one of the people that were mostly influential in the semantic web. And the idea is simply this. Usually, logicians used and devised complex reasoning system, complex logic for why complex? They were complex because they were trying to capture in a precise way and in a complete way what the kind of reasoning that intelligent systems, intelligent humans were adapting. So the problem with this is that the more complex the logic is, the more difficult it is to reason with it and to use it. Tasks, and for example the one that are related to semantic web, you actually don't need so much powerful formal systems, but you can start having big improvement by starting with small systems that were much more simpler, and simpler means also scalable. in the sense that instead of using a full-blown logic, you just select some specific fragment for solving specific task, then the mechanism for deducing new things, for reasoning with it, becomes simpler and much more efficient. And the only other way, by constraining the kind of statement you can write and express with your logic, it becomes also easier to learn and to use, not only by experts in logic, but also from domain experts, that were the ones that were actually describing and modeling the domains. Okay, so that's why the slogan quote really traction and was used and applied. Nowadays, we often refer to system built using formal logic as semantic technology. So the idea of semantic technology is to use formal methods that are rooted in well-defined and well-understood formal logics for problem solving. And the idea is that you need to understand the problem you want to solve, so you formalize your problem, and the key aspect here is select the appropriate logic, or fragment of logic, and the appropriate tools for solving the specific problem. And often this is, and most of the time, is hidden from the end user, in the sense that people usually that will use and also will help you in build systems for solving problems, usually they won't see logic at all. They will see some kind of front end that people expert in semantic technology will provide for solving the specific problem. And I'll show you an example of application that we did with a company specializing in law. Okay, so why logic, and so which are the logic superpowers? There are three main aspects that I believe that are really the key of successful solving problem with logic. Is the fact that the first one is deduction. So usually you model your problem using a specific language, and then you can use automated system for deriving information explicitly written in your formalization of the problem. So this is called deduction. This is one of the key aspects of logic. And the other aspect about deduction is the fact that this can be automatized. So there can be a system that automatically deduce and prove that some facts are true given some premises. The other is conciseness. So usually you don't need to specify all the details, but you produce a general framework that are able to deduce and fill the gaps between the initial description of your problem and the actual details of your problem. And third one, which is a key aspect of logic, is explainability. So since you know exactly how the system works and you have all the formal property of your framework, the framework we are using, you can also show why some decision has been taken and other are not being taken. And this is a huge difference with respect machine learning techniques, as was introduced, as kindly introduced at the beginning of this session. That is, machine learning often are opaque. They are like a black box with respect to the decision they allow to take, while in logic you can also fully describe the reason for this. And this, I can open brackets here for telling you that in the research, there starts to be a connection between machine learning techniques and logic, especially in the area of explainability. So how logic can help to explain and describe machine learning models. But I won't talk about this. It's just for giving you an idea. So what are the applications of logic? So where are the places where logic is still playing and is very important playing a role nowadays? I briefly mentioned some of the areas where machine learning techniques are really successful nowadays, but when logic is important? Well, logic is important when you actually need to control the result, explain the result that you have, and you cannot take decision based on some statistical property of your domain. So one of the key thing of machine learning is that is approximating decision. So it's a good approximation of your decision, but you cannot guarantee that your decision are the correct one given the premises. And this because it is a statistical process. So in fact, when you evaluate a machine learning model, you actually provide the data regarding precision and recall of your system. In logic, this doesn't happen because what you describe is formally sound, and the decision that are taken may be the wrong decision, but if the model is according to the reality, then the decision can be proven to be the correct one. And application of this are in several areas. Here I'm spotlighting a few of them. Some of them I will discuss. So the last two of them I will show you some application. I'm obviously talking about semantic web because it has been a big push of the semantic technologies in the wider application because of the scale of the web. Another very important application is of logic and formal method is software engineering for proving some property of systems. And for example, you can look at the Microsoft Rise group for their work on, for example, analysis of programming languages and support for programmers, which they are doing very interesting work. Another key aspect of logic is the intelligent access to data. That is how to make sense of data in a slightly different way that usually machine learning management dealing with data is. I will give you some example of that. And the third one, which I'm working a lot, is on for business processes, and I'll say something about that. So data and logic. One, they are crucial for managing and dealing with data is integration of different data sources. You know that a few years ago, the problem of making different databases speak to each other wasn't there. So you usually had a database, you usually have a query language for interrogating the database, getting information out of it, and that's it. But nowadays, the problem is that the interconnection between agency, between databases, is very important. Let me make a small story that just happened now. So, you know, we are in the middle of a pandemic. We in Bolzano, the province, decided to vaccinate all the people working in education. So, for example, in the university, we had to be vaccinated. So what happened is that went to the province. All the names, all the ID, the identification. In Italy, we have a unique identifier that enrolls us in the Health National Service. So they gave you, it was a two-step process. This is not mandatory to be vaccinated. You had to register for vaccination. So we started registering for the vaccination, but register for the vaccination, other people cannot. And it wasn't clear why. And actually, I was one of the people that weren't able to vaccinate. What's the problem there? The problem is that health service, the National Health Service, is divided by, is managed by provinces. And myself and other people that work at the university are not living in the actual province where the university resides. So what happened is that our code for the national service wasn't known by the database of the health service of the province. So what happened is that they actually wrongly assumed that all the people working at the university were also registered to the health service in the province itself. So what's the problem with this? Well, it was a delay. We are 3 weeks now that we started doing the vaccination, and some people were still not able to register. So what's the problem of this? The problem is a modeling problem. So they made a wrong assumption. Actually, they knew that some people weren't registered, were living in other provinces, but actually, they actually didn't make this explicit in the database. So for that reason, the database wasn't able to perform the task. So this for showing you that the problem of integrating different data sources is relevant, is important, and can be tackled by logic. Now they are solving the problem. We are 3 weeks now and they are manually solving the problem, but the problem is that they have to do manually, and is very time consuming and prone to error, as we have seen. So what's the part of the solution? Because obviously there are complex aspects here. Part of the solution is that you actually describe the domain that you are going to model. So, for example, in this case, vaccination and health service by means of a formal system, a kind of logic. It's not important which logic, it depends a lot on what kind of task you want to solve, but you are describing 3 different things. You are describing where the data is, an integrated view, an overview of how the data looks like, and then you provide some interfaces that describe how the data sources relate to this integrated view. And then instead of doing queries on the single data sources, you query the overall view, and the system automatically answer your question. So the structure is a little bit this. These are the data sources. They are the different databases, if you allow me. So for example, one can be the province database, the other can be the university, and so on and so forth. There is a formal, unified view terms and all the information that you need. And what the user is doing is posing query not really over the sources, but over this overview of your system. What happens is that automatically, and this is the power of using a formal system, automatically the system can break down this query at high level into smaller queries for all the data sources, and then recombine the result for providing an answer to the final user. So this is an example how logic can be used. There are obviously challenges here. Scalability is one of the challenges. Remember that I was saying that one of the threats to adoption is the scalability. The kind of query language you want to use, because there is a trade-off between expressiveness of the language you're using and scalability of the techniques, and this is also related with the query language. And then there are some information, more information about this on the website of a project that we are working on at the University of Bolzano. So another example, which is an interesting example between a way combined machine learning techniques and and logic is chatbots. What's a chatbot? Usually is a software that helps in interacting with the user by means of conversation. There are different techniques, often natural language understanding is used, and is widely used in industry. It's something that is really exploding right now because it provides a customer a personalized and unmanned user service, which is able to provide a better service for customer. So a chatbot is something like this. I'll give you an example. So people interact with a system that may ask questions, and then the user can select the answer. So the system usually makes some question for trying to understand the needs for the user. The user answers to these questions, and according to the kind of question, kind of answer given to the question, the system directs the user to different question and different and provide a customized interaction with the user. So I'm not going forward. I give you just how this will works usually. A little bit of terminology, just a quick. So the intent usually is what the need of the user. So why the user is interacting with the specific chatbot. There is a dialogue flow that is controlling how the user interacts with the chatbot, and usually the interaction out of an objective. So, for example, providing an answer, if it's a chatbot which is helping in finding the way to a website, or, for example, whether the user should be referred to another level of the systems, customer support, for example. So usually there are different ways of structuring chatbot. One of the way is by means of decision trees. What is a decision tree? A decision tree is a simple structure widely used in computer science, in which the knowledge is structured by means of a tree. Each node is a question. You can see it as a question, and then the answer provides the navigation in the tree. So, for example, this is for identifying fruits, but actually it's really a simple example. The first question that the chatbot will ask to the user is that what the color of the things you are looking for. So, for example, if I'm answering red, then the next question will be what is the size of the things you're looking for. If I answer medium, then the next question would be what's the taste? And if I answer sweet, then the system will say, okay, you are looking for cherries. That's how decision tree is being used. So one of the problems is, so once you construct a decision tree, you can use it for guiding the flow of the conversation with the chatbot. One of the problems of doing so is that, and this was coming from a project with a law firm that was trying to build an online system for screening the request from a possible customer. So the idea is that there were, instead of having directly to talk with a lawyer, the idea was that to build a chatbot that actually asked the question to the user, and at the end was giving an answer like, okay, this problem can be tackled by our law services, or otherwise, no, we don't think that you have a case here, and we are not able to help you, something like this. So screening the input. The problem they had is that managing these trees is really complex. They were building them by hand, and they were becoming huge and difficult to maintain and very error prone. So how we can solve this? Actually, decision tree is a big thing in machine learning. There are algorithms for building decision trees. There are different algorithms. I'm not going into details of which are these algorithms, but most of the cases, what they do, they start with some examples. So, for example, if the first attribute is A, the second value is 20, this is low, then the decision would be false, and so on and so forth. Now, with this table, there are algorithms that derive directly the tree which is represented by this kind of information. Now, how we can exploit this? Usually the problem is building this table. We don't have this table. So one way of solving it is that we can use a logic system for actually building this table. And the way we did it, so there are different ways, that we can provide a simple rule-based formalism for describing the problem. So, for example, when the size is small and the color is green, then it's a grape. And these are simple rules that are easy to understand also for people working in the domain, so lawyers. And then what we did, we use a rule engine. We used an answer set programming engine. It's not important, but it actually is a rule system. And using this rule system, we were able to build a table. And then we use one of the available algorithms for building the tree. So this is a way that you see combines the two worlds. So using a formalism for building this table, and then providing using a machine learning algorithm for building the tree. Another area I'm working on is business process management. What is business process management? It's an odd topic. So the idea is that every organization, every company, we in the university, probably your university, has processes. Processes are a way of doing things. So they are workflows for example, getting the approbation for certain expenses, for actually the registration to your exams, and so on and so forth. There are processes, and these are not topic nowadays, and there are different aspects about workflows, so trying to discover which are the workflows, optimizing them, trying to understand why and where there are bottlenecks, why some processes takes long time and some are not. Compliance, understanding whether whenever you have a model that how the workflow would and process would proceed, and something goes wrong, doesn't proceed according to what is expected, where is the problem? So usually processes are described by sort of workflows like this one. It's not important what they means. Usually they tasks are represented by this square diagram, and the dependencies, so how in which order tasks should be performed, are represented by this arrow. So it's not important exactly the kind of language. The important is understanding how this is represented. But actually this is a formal system. It's just the things is not a language, but is a formal system. And this system has been studied for years, and they are transition systems. So transition systems are formal systems, as this is, for example, how a transition system is represented formally, but actually you can reason about them. So once you take a workflow and transform into this transition system, you can use different techniques for analyzing, for discovering new facts about them, comparing them, and so on and so forth. So, for example, you can use automated planning. Automated planning is one of the first area of AI that has been studied. You can use model checking, which is widely used, for example, in verification of formal systems. You can use non-monotonic reasoning, all kinds of reasoning. So the idea is that, for example, you can check whether some condition will happen. And what you can do with this, let me. You can check whether a process is conform to some properties. You can try to repair it to understand what went wrong, and you can use different tools that are being developed not really in the area of workflow analysis, but in different areas. So since you have a formal description of your problem, you can actually reuse other tools that are in principle not being studied and developed for this task, for solving this task. And why you can do that? Because you can describe formally the properties of your system, and then you can apply different techniques because you can prove, you can show that the result that you get are relevant for the problem you are dealing with. Another example, again, on business processes. So one way to understand business workflows is by what is called trace semantics. Trace semantics is very simple. It's just all the sequences of activity that are really compliant with your model. So for example, this model is telling you that first of all, when you start the process, you have to do A, and then you have to do B, and in parallel, you can have to do C or D. And then you can do several times C or D as you want before terminating. So what you have is that you can describe by your system what are the models of your system are all set of strings that contains the sequence of activity that you can perform. Okay. Now, what is nice about this? It's nice because these are strings, right? And the way that strings should of sequences that you can form about your workflow can be checked and described. Expression are implemented in most of the programming languages, and so you can and often they are also implemented in a way that are very efficient. So actually you can reuse the machinery and the libraries for regular expression for discovering and stating properties about your workflow system. And this can be used, for example, and we did it by exploiting the declarative description of this model. So there are alternative representation of workflow in which you actually, instead of representing it in a graphical way, you describe constraint among the different activities. So, for example, here, you say that the activity B has to happen exactly once. So you cannot do B more than once, and you have to do B for completing. Or precedence, so this is saying that you cannot do C unless you previously did A. So this kind of description of your process, which is alternative to the graphical one we have seen earlier on. And the meaning about this can be given in different ways. It can be given by specific logic, so it's temporal logic. I won't go into details, but it's a logic that that is used for relating the evolution of system in time. But at the same time, it can be represented by means of regular expression, that is those and using a specific implementation of your language. What is nice about this is that you have two equivalent ways of describing a system. You can show that these two ways are equivalent. So if you get some result by using one of the technique, so a very efficient regular expression engine, then you have the same property. You can show the same property that you be having using a temporal logic. And this is very nice because you can combine, according to the task you have to perform, different technique, choosing the technique which is more adapt and efficient for your specific problem without worrying that what you are doing is not really relevant for the problem you are tackling. So just to give an example, you don't need to read it, but for example, consider the absence to constraints that tells you that A must be executed at most once. This can be represented by two different systems. So, for example, this will be the representation in linear temporal logic, quite complex. And this is the representation, for example, by means of regular expression. If you are a programmer, you are very comfortable, you really understand what you're doing here and what this is meaning. A logician, and a specific logician that really works on temporal logic, this formula is really difficult to understand. So what's the point here is that you can prove using logic, you can actually prove that this true expression means exactly the same thing. So you can use the system that you are more comfortable and is more used problem at hand. So for example, if you are a programmer, and actually I wrote the system for doing some verification, I used for example the Go language. I used the implementation of the regular expression because it was the right tool to use. It was fast, efficient, and so on and so forth. But actually, I knew that what I was doing was sound, was really giving you the right result, because I have this formalization in the back that was able to tell me, okay, you are using this formally, but is the right one for your task, and it actually is correct, and you are taking your decision in the well-founded way. Okay, how we did this? We did the reduction to a formal system, and for checking the equivalence of what we are doing, we used some tools that are available online. So, for example, the absent true constraint is represented by this automata here, but it's not important. The important thing is that you have tools, so you don't really need to do by hand. You have tools that are able to show that the things you are doing is the correct one. So actually what we did is we used these techniques for discovering models, for trying to understand, given some examples of traces, some example of processes that really happened, then trying to understand what was the model behind. And for doing this, we actually exploited these two different formulas, formalism, regular expression, and logic, linear logic. So concluding it, what are semantics technology solutions? There is the idea of using logic for problem solving. Trying to model your problem by means of a formal system, that guarantee you to know which are the properties and how the system behave. Nowadays, they are mature and scalable tools. You don't need to build all your tools from ground. You can reuse a lot of work that's been done in the past years. The work that has been done on formal reasoning, automated support is extraordinary. So there are tools that are really powerful and they are really tuned and can be used. The key point here is that it's not a competition with machine learning, so that it's not an alternative here. It's another tool in the toolbox of a problem solver. So if you need to tackle a problem, you have one more arrow for using it. Point is that require adequate expertise. So they are complex systems. If you are not controlling what you're doing, the risk is that will blow in your face. What it means you blow in your face is that you formulate the problem in such a way that is too complex to be solved in practice. This is really happening a lot. So you have to really understand the system, and it's important to have people that really are able to actually flexible enough to understand to understand a wide range of techniques and to understand which one should be applied. And And here is university education play a big role. So actually, formal system is something that is worth studying, even in the light of machine learning. As I was telling you before, the big wave of explainability in machine learning is embracing logic-based technique, formal techniques for trying to support this. These techniques and explainability. Okay, here I conclude my presentation. I hope I gave you some food for thought. Trying to understand. I would like you to have some interest in trying to look what something more about logic and how this can be used also for your project and then your application. Okay, thank you. And if there are questions, I will be happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sergio, for invaluable insight. Before we go to Q&A session, allow me to summarize that semantic technologies are the technologies which encompass software and ontologies. In those technologies, there are techniques based on formal semantics and automatic reasoning, as of course as those based on statistics, in other words, machine learning. And logic has an important role to play in at least some central area of AI research, and an influential minority considers logic to be the most important factor in enabling strategic and fundamental advices. Now, I will read the question from Roshid Ridho Al-Hakim from Indonesia. The question is for Dr. Sergio. Regarding the development, will it be possible for an emotional approach to be mastered by the learning process by the system, so that it allows learning conclusions based on the emotional state in the previous data?
So the idea is emotional part, the emotional part. It's difficult to say. There are studies that the difficult bit about building a model, whatever model, this can be a machine learning model, a logic model, is trying to understand. First, you need to understand the phenomena. Once you understand the phenomena, you can model it. And I guess the problem is trying to understand what's emotional reasoning is. There are some research on that. I know that you probably be aware of creativity in AI. So there is a big research of creativity of AI. And this encompass painting, encompass humor, for example, how to understand and represent humor, encompass the idea of creative writing, and there is a wide range of technique that has been used here. So there have been a lot of reinforcement learning techniques applied here. And there are already some results that show that a variety of approaches can be used for representing more human kind of emotive approach to problem solving.
Thank you very much. We come to the second question. Is from Wati from Banyumas. Is there any mobile application that makes use of semantic technology?
Well, mobile application usually is mostly concerning the front end. So in that case, yes, there are, in the sense that often semantic-based technologies, especially, they require big computational power for answering questions. But those usually are in the back end. So the back end is definitely require a powerful system, but the front semantic web, the mobiles application are widely used for interacting with the user. For example, also the simple chatbot I was showing you before is based on a mobile interface. But what I like to stress is that in most of the cases this concern the front end, so the interface with the user. Usually the back end is driven not by mobile system, but actually by servers that can be distributed, organized in different ways. So, for example, by microservices or whatever architecture you want to deploy.
Thank you very much. We come to the last question. Now I will provide chance to one participant to give the question directly. Please. Okay, raise your hand so we can see you. Or I continue the, okay, all right. I have the last question. This is from Joel B. De La Cruz from Mindanao, Philippines. The question is about chatbot terminology, how this will work. And he said he didn't get it.
Okay, the chatbot terminology I was mentioning, probably, let me get back to that. Okay, the terminology is just for when you interact with people building a chatbot, you need to have a way of communicating. But the idea is that when you start an interaction with a chatbot, you have what is often referred as an intent, that is, you have a problem and you want to solve. That is the intent. So, for example, we at the University of Bolzano, we developed a chatbot for helping users finding their way in the library. And usually when you interact with it, you have some problems. So, for example, you have, I need to find a book, I need to find the place where I can borrow a laptop, so on and so forth. That is the intent. And this is the kind of thing that you see when you interact in chatbot with the websites, is the initial question that the chatbot salute you and then ask you, how can I help? And this is the area where I can help. That's the intent. Then the flow of the dialogue is how the chatbot controls. So the kind of answer the kind of question is doing, the kind of answer, the kind of way is asking you the answer. So, for example, it may ask to answer you in a textual way, or it may ask you to select a few different items, for example. And then when I was talking about objective, is the actual decision or answer that the bot is giving you. So, for example, it's giving, okay, you'll find this book in this section, or we don't have the book and you need to contact a librarian for interloan request, and so on and so forth. Or we'll refer you to the second level user support because your problem needs to be answered by a technician. competition. This kind of answer is what I call objective. But as I said, it's just a way, fixing a terminology is just a way of communicating with developer when you work on a specific system. So it's clear what we are talking about. It's the actual name is not that important. It's that the shared meaning is what is really important.
Okay, we have few minutes. Would you mind one more question, Dr. Sergio?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So we provide the chance to one participant to directly ask question to Dr. Sergio. Dear brother. Okay, Jamila. Jamila, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Jamila? Okay. We couldn't have you. Maybe the next one.
I see a few questions on the chatbot. There is one which is I guess related to libraries. Yeah.
Okay.
Here, the question was in the library, what are the aspects we adopted AI? It's not clear to me. I guess it's talking about library in the programming sense. So in this way, I will answer. If it's not the right one, the attendee can get back. So this is interesting because of the fact I was saying before. So in the early days, and when I talk about early days, I really talk about 10, 20 years ago. When you were working in logic and AI, logic in general, you have to develop everything by yourself. So you develop your formal system, and then you had to write code for automated deduction by yourself. Nowadays, no longer the case. So in the same way that if you are familiar in machine learning, there are a lot of libraries where you actually can exploit what has been already done. The same things happen in the logic and AI community. So there are wonderful tools that are really ready to be included in your system. So, for example, I can mention the system we used, the answer set programming, the Klingo answer set programming, the Microsoft Z3 prover is really a wonderful system that really can be integrated and used by different kind of languages. So we are in the position now that these systems are really industrial strength and can be really used in your solution in an easy way. So, for example, I'm teaching AI techniques at the master level, and I let students to experiment the system, and I noticed that it's really easy to once they picked up the main idea behind this system, they are really easy for them to incorporate them into their projects for writing solution. So it's really nowadays really easy and useful to use this system, and can be really employed in industrial strength projects.
Thank you very much. One more. Do we have time? Enough. Okay. Dr. Sergio, this is the end of the session.
Thank you for inviting me. It was nice to talk to your audience, and I hope I bring some new ideas and things that people may may didn't know, and they have a way of thinking about it. And I hope it will be helpful. Also for future students that may decide to study logic, which I think is it's useful.
All right, it was awesome presentation. Let's give a clap to Dr. Sergio Tesaris. And let's have a group photo first. Operator, can we get the screenshot? And Dr. Sergio, okay, please turn your camera on first. I will count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Big smile. Sergio. All right, we come to the second session. We have Nur Alfi Ekawati Eskom MSc from SBU Indonesia that will present about Let's Welcome Spring with Spring Framework. Before we begin, let's read the CV. She obtained a master's degree from Technische Universität Dresden, that is one of the top universities in Germany and ranked in the global world, ranking 2021. She also studied at the Pre-University of Bolzano in Italy for 1 semester to get the joint degree for her master's study. In 2017, she worked for a company in Germany as an intern developer. For now, she works as a software developer in Jakarta as well as additional lecturer at STIMIC Widya Utama. Ms. Alfi has about 30 minutes to present the material. Without further ado, let's welcome our second speaker, Ms. Nur Alfi Ekawati Eskom MSc. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much for the given time, Mr. Briandoko. Spring begins at the March in the Northern Hemisphere and at the September in the Southern. That is what I can tell you the spring season in brief. What about the spring framework? Are they related to each another? Sure, but very little bit. Spring framework can keep a simplicity for you in programming. Let me invite you to talk more about this. Let's welcome Spring with Spring Framework. Hello everyone. Let me introduce myself to you. That my name, this is my full name, is Nur Alfi Ekawati. You can call me Alfi. I'm from Indonesia. I was born here in Indonesia. I'm the lecturer at STIMIC Widya Utama and also a software developer for a tech company in Jakarta. Later, if you want to write an email for me after this seminar, you can write an email to me to nuralfiekwati. You can send an email to me to another email to nuralfiekwati@swu@ac.id. I was graduated from the Technische Universität Dresden, Germany, and also for University of Bolzano, Italy. I got Master of MSc from the study program Propositional Logic from both universities. I have a blog. It you want to visit my blog, please write www.technology in your browser
Excuse
of
me,
your computer.
Miss Alfie.
There are some I like to
I think there is a technical
help
problem.
to
Let the
you
operator
in this
fix this.
question. Okay. Okay. Um, okay.
Thank you very
I should
much. Go ahead.
okay. I should repeat once more. Okay. Can you see my face right now? Okay. There are some points that I'd like to explain to you in this presentation material. The first one is about the Spring framework, and second one is why to learn Spring, continued with applications of Spring, and then the next one is benefit of using Spring, and continued with Spring ecosystem, usage, and Spring framework. Okay, the next one is the Spring framework. Before that, yeah, as far as I know, I got information from the committee of the seminar. They received that this international seminar are from 26 countries, 170 subjects from these 26 countries. I think that's very interesting. That is the overall number for the 3 days of the seminar, coming from 26 countries. These 26 countries are from Africa and also from Asia. And I'd like to know what is the current season in your country? I think for the one whether it is dry season or wet season, but I have already lived in Europe some years ago. I've lived in Europe for 3 years and a half, more and less. There I got the season, spring season in March, so it's already March, and I think it's already spring season in Europe as well for now. The next one, yeah, this picture will tell you how beautiful our spring season, especially in Europe. This picture is taken from Netherlands, Europe. It is very beautiful, right? Yeah, so it's already spring in most Western countries. In this season, are you ready to know the spring framework? Okay, in this slide, in this page, you will know the origin of the name spring. Spring has association is called spring. Spring framework. If we want to learn something new, it's better for us to start with why. Okay, the question is why to learn Spring? Spring is the most popular application development framework for Enterprise Java. Enterprise Java is a Java application that is usually built and used by organizations. Use Spring framework to create high-performing, easily testable, and reusable code. The core features of the Spring framework can be used in developing any Java applications, but most of them
Stop
are just
you again because we cannot
development.
see your face. Sorry about the technical problem, but the operator will fix it.
Yeah.
Okay. While waiting, Miss Alfie, I would like to remind you to fill out your details in the link to receive your certificate of participation. And the link is only open for 3 hours for now. So please fill it out immediately. The operator. All right. And I would like to remind you that this is the first day of 3-day our webinar series. The first is now, the 6th March, and then Monday and Tuesday. So stay tuned. Thank you for the operator. You can continue the presentation, Ms. Alfi.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much for the committee. That is very interesting video. I think that was showing us how beautiful of Indonesia. Okay, let's continue again. Let's continue again with the question: why we need to learn Spring? We want to learn something new. It's better for us to start with the question why. Why to learn Spring? Spring is the most popular application development framework for enterprise Java. Enterprise Java means the Java application that is usually used by organization, business, or any other else, not for individual. Millions of developers on the world use Spring framework to create high-performing, easily testable, and usable code. The core features of the Spring framework can be used in developing any Java applications, but mostly target to make enterprise app development easier. And Spring Framework itself is an open source Java platform. It was initially written by Rod Johnson. As I've already said to you that this person, namely Rod Johnson, comes from Australia. Johnson is scientist for computer science. And Spring Framework was first released under the Apache 2.0 license in June 2003. Next. Press edit. Yeah, on the graph, for the red line, it depicts the Java Enterprise Edition usage, yeah, starting from 2004 until the last years. And it tells us that the usage is reduced, yeah, starting from high number, and for the last years is already reduced many. And then for the blue one is for depicting the Spring usage, frameworks user. This graph tells us that the users of Spring Framework is stagnant, but in the last years, it is very competitive if we compare to Java Enterprise Edition's users. So we can say both of them are very competitive and trying to prove us which one is the best to be used for enterprise Java. And if there's a question, what are the applications of Spring? Maybe some of these can explain to you a little bit. For example, for e-commerce web, some of the e-commerce web use the Spring framework to build the applications. Yeah. For example, for online shop, many kind of online shop right now using the Spring framework to build the application. And then for product catalog demonstration, this application can of web application or mobile applications. But I can say to you that many of them right now use the Spring framework to build the application. Management app, maybe it can be in the form of mobile application. And then the fintech app, I think fintech app is one of the hypest applications that is built by many people, yeah, many organizations, many business, many companies. For example, in Indonesia, in my country, fintech app is the number of fintech app is rising from year to year. For example, right now there is that is associated with Grab applications, and also in Gojek there is GoPay. Yeah, Pay is like e-money or e-wallet for Gojek, and then any other apps like Pay and so on. Many of them use the Spring framework to build the application. So you can imagine how this huge advantage of the Spring framework for the people in the world right now. And this is very famous application, Netflix. I think most of us are have experience on watching the streaming televisions, namely Netflix. Netflix is very famous now applications. Netflix is streaming TV, and one of the senior developer from Netflix said that originally Netflix libraries and frameworks were built in-house, and he's proud to say that as the platform almost entirely over to Springboard. So it means Netflix also uses Spring framework to build their applications. So yeah, for all of us who usually watch television series or movie from Netflix, so we've already used the advantages of the Spring framework because Netflix itself is built by using the Spring framework. Okay, another question. I have a question whether the Spring framework is also usable to build the artificial intelligence. And the answer is yes. Spring framework can be used to build an artificial intelligence applications. And as a part of artificial intelligence, there is machine learning. Machine learning applications, maybe some of these written example can be example of artificial intelligence, particularly machine learning applications. For example, speech and image processing and recognition, financial strategy, fraud detection, translation, value predictions, and many more apps. Okay, in this page, I show you that intelligence and also financial applications. And the previous ones, I also told you that the fintech app is also a part of the applications using Spring framework. But I'm not going into deep explanation for artificial intelligence or financial itself. That is related to the third speaker material after this presentation. So I just explain to you a little bit, mention to you a little bit that there is artificial intelligence and also financial applications that use Spring framework. But I'm not going into deep explanation for artificial intelligence and financial as well. Okay, to talk about the machine learning, we will hear deep learning. Deep learning is being extensively used by companies to train the algorithms. In this picture, in the picture of a notebook, there are some deep learning frameworks that mostly used by people or developers in the world. There is TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, and other frameworks as well. And in the sheet, you can see that deep learning is used in machine learning, and machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. And the next example is the object detection app. Maybe most of us have already used application like this, yeah, or the application like in the camera, and camera sometimes has the feature to check the image of us, yeah, by detecting our face. Nah, that is the example of object detection app, and that and then this kind of applications can be built by using the Spring framework as well. The next one, what is the benefit of using Spring? I can make a little bit conclusion in front that Spring can make Java simple, modern, and also productive. Yeah, simple because it is very lightweight. Yeah, Spring is beneficial for developing and deploying applications on computer with limited memory and also CPU resources that are limited as well. And then testability, it means easy to test. Yeah, testing an application written with Spring is very simple because environment-dependent code is moved into this framework. And the next one is Web MVC. MVC stands for Model, View, and Controller. Spring's web framework is a well-designed web MVC framework which provides a great alternative, to web frameworks. And then the next one, integration with existing frameworks. So it means the Spring framework can be integrated with so many existing frameworks like ORM frameworks, and then Quartz and timers and logging and Java and this also can be integrated in this framework as well. The next one, still in the benefit of using Spring. In this page, I can make a conclusion a little bit that Spring make programming Java quicker, easier, and safer for everybody. I can say Spring is everywhere because Spring's library are trusted by the developer all over the world. Spring delivers delightful experiences to millions of end users every day, whether that is for streaming TV application, or connected cars, or online shopping applications, and so on. And there are some big names that has correlation with Spring framework. So Spring also has contribution from all the big names in tech. For example, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Alibaba, and other big names. And these big names in tech has a correlation or has a contribution, has a relation with the Spring framework. Whether the Spring use the feature or libraries from these big names or existing framework. This one. Okay. The next one. Spring is fast. Spring is fast because Spring fast to start up execution by default. And Spring is secure because it is already proven. It has proven track record of dealing with security issues, quickly and responsibly. Okay, the next one, Spring is supportive. Supportive, we can say Spring is supportive because Spring community is very huge, and the most global universe and spans of all ages. So you can search many community of Spring framework anywhere. What Spring can do? Spring can do the microservice. What is the microservice? Microservice is a modern approach to software where the application's code can be delivered in small, manageable pieces, independent of others. So if we don't use the microservice approach, maybe we have the code of programming in a huge number, But by using the microservice methods or approach, we can break down for this huge code, into the small part, manageable pieces. Small part and small part. That is we can say about the microservices. And then cloud. Cloud, if we say about the cloud native, it means dealing with issues like external conditions, logging, connecting to in services. Spring can do the cloud native. And then Spring can do can do simplify in web apps, yeah, to make the fast, secure, responsive web applications connected to data store. And then the next one is event driven. It means Spring can be integrated to your enterprise application. Act on the all time. For example, they use in Netflix as previously mentioned by me. It is one of the cases of this event driven, I think, because we can do the streaming data in real time. And then the next one is batch. It means it can do the automated task, yeah, offline processing of data at a time to suit the needs. Spring ecosystem. What is this? What is it? Spring ecosystem is the ecosystem for Spring, in which under this ecosystem there are some kind of projects like Springboard, Spring Code, Spring Data, Spring Mobile, and many more. But I have a plan to explain to you a little bit about four kind of Spring project here. The first one is Springboard. Spring is like the Spring project that takes an opportunity view of building Spring applications that gets you up and running as quickly as possible. I will give more explanation a little bit about this Springboard later in the next page. The Springboard provides a set of tools for common patterns in distributed systems, useful for building and deploying microservices. Yeah, microservice is a concept that I've already mentioned to you before. And the Spring Data means Spring provides a consistent approach to data access, whether it is relational or non-relational. And Spring Mobile, it is very useful for the mobile application development because it simplifies the development of mobile apps through device detection and progressive rendering option. Then those projects are under the Spring framework. And this page is telling us about the comparison between Spring MVC and the Springboard. Actually, the difference between these two. Spring MVC, like I said to you in the previous slide, MVC stands for Model View Controller. It means this framework that is used to build the web applications follows the model view and controller. It is like the front and controller will render the model. Yeah, the front controller will render the model of information to view template, and this view template will show the model to user through the front controller. So these three things can be cooperation in the working in the Spring MVC web applications. And the next one is Springboard. Springboard is a model for Spring framework. So if you want to make an application by using Spring framework, but with a much more simpler, you can use this Springboard. Springboard requires no configurations. It is used to create production-ready applications with zero XML configurations in your project. Okay, if there is a question, what is the general prerequisites to start making an applications by using Spring framework? I can answer that you need to first having good understanding of Java programming, and then the next one is having basic understanding of Eclipse IDE. Actually, for building the application using Spring framework, it is not mandatory to use it by using Eclipse IDE. There is another IDE, for example, IntelliJ, yeah. But for me, it's common for me to use Eclipse of other IDE. Okay. Do you want to start Spring demo the use of Spring framework? Okay. I already mentioned to you before that if you want to build an application by using Spring Framework, yeah, you need Eclipse IDE, yeah. This IDE can be obtained by getting the installer first through this website. Just type Eclipse, www.eclipse.com, and there is the button of download over there. What is this? Eclipse. Eclipse, sorry, www.eclipse.org. So there is a button of download here. Click that button, and you will get the installer of the Eclipse IDE. Just click that installer and follow the steps. Then you will to install the Eclipse. And assume Eclipse is already installed in your computer. What's next? We usually use to set an environment variable, yeah, one or more environment variable in our company before we start a project in Eclipse. If you want to put it, just type like "m" in your computer, and you will see there is a system environment variable. Just click that, and then click environment variable and put anything you need to support the building or making the project in Eclipse. For example, for me, I need to write the project of Spring Framework method by using Java applications. That's why I put here the JDK. I give the name for variable Java home, and then the value is the path where the JDK is put over there. And then okay, assume we've already finished to put any variables in the environment variable setting, and then the next one is okay, here I should go to Spring Initializer. You can type Google Spring Initializer. Spring Initializer. I need to build an application by using Springboard. Yes, as I said to you before, that Springboard is the framework that is very useful because it can make us sit in the Springboard applications. Okay, here in the left side there is option whether we will use Maven project or Reader project. I choose Maven project, and then language is Java programming language, and I choose the Springboard, the version 2.3.9, and it says we have to fill the name of the group of the package. Let's say as it is example, and then for artifact is like a file, yeah, a file that is usually in the form of jar file. Yeah. This is the file that gets employed or deployed into Maven repository. And let's make a name of the project. Let's say the name of the project is demo, and the description of the project just write as you want. For example, demo project for Springboard in the seminar. And then the page name, example demo, just leave it as it is. And then packaging is jar, in the form of jar, and I need to use Java with a Java 8. And in the right side, there is a dependencies. Here, we can search, we can check which dependencies that we will to use to build the application of Spring Framework. let's say I need the Spring Web because I'd like to build a Spring Web application. If we don't use the Spring initializer, we are still able to add the dependencies by using Eclipse, yeah, but it requires us to download or take one by keep a simplicity to make a package of all these into a page. Then the next one is just click the button generate to generate the package for all of these that we've already built and need in the making of Spring Framework applications. And the next one is open your Eclipse IDE. So this is the view of Eclipse IDE. Yeah. Let's assume that we've already import the Spring initializer package into this one. If you don't do that yet, just click like this, right click, and then port, and then choose the existing Maven project. Yeah, because we've already chosen into Spring initializer before that we will use Maven. Click existing Maven project, next, and from here we'll just click and then next or choose to finish. And the project of Spring initializers for sure is already here in the project explorer. In this hierarchy of the directory, there is main application, main class, and of this class is demo application. In this demo application, I've already written a little bit additional code. Slide here, it means for the URL of web applications method that we will call, we should write /hello in the endpoint of the URL. And by this simple code, and by typing hello and then enter, you will get the string is appearing in our browser. This is the expectation of our web applications by writing this code. Okay, how do we run for these applications? Okay, the next step, to run this application, we need to open CMD or command prompt. Just type CMD in your computer, CMD, command prompt, and then here, by default, we are in the drive C, and we need to go to the, okay, we need to go to the directory where the Springboard is over there. I'm sorry, where the project of Spring initializer over there. Okay. Okay. Just typing CD and the path, and then type Maven Springboard run. Enter. By typing this and enter, you will see the program is compiling and run. It is running as well. And still failure. Yeah, because in the previous one, I ran the same program, the same port. So the port of the program should be unique, not be used by any other program. Okay, just write again. Sorry, for the computer, I need to run this one first before I close my presentation material. Maven W Springboard run. Okay, it's already compiling and run, and then we need to call the URL to just type in your browser, yeah, open your browser and type like localhost. I use the port 80, 90, and /hello. Nah, sorry, I use the local computer to build to run this application. So the URL is localhost. If it's already in the cloud, yeah, it is not the case again, because we can use like www something, yeah, for example www.swu.com and then the hello. Okay, because we are running this program in our computer locally, or localhost 8090/hello, and this string is appearing here. What about this one? For example, hello, yes, and then name equal Egypt. So it resulting different view. Okay, I think that's enough for the explanation of Spring Framework and its demo. Okay, thank you very much for the given time. I give the time again back to our moderator, Mr. Priyanto. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the priceless explanation about Spring Framework. Before we go to the Q&A session, allow me to summarize that nowadays Spring is the most popular application development framework for enterprise Java. It can be used to build many kinds of application easier and simpler, such as for web application, fintech apps, and even for artificial intelligence application. I'd like to remind you that you can ask questions through the link that is running below the picture. Okay, allow me to read the question. The first question is based on your personal preference, way more effective between Spring and Java.
Okay, thank you for the given question. It is not equal to be compared apple to apple, because Java is but Spring is a framework, so it's different. But if you mean that in this case Java scope and then compared to Spring, you can compare. And my answer is Spring is much more simpler and easier to write the code for Java programming language. Yeah, in the last years, mostly I used Spring instead of Java Enterprise editions to build the applications. For me, I have experience in writing code together with my colleagues to build the applications for web applications or applications for mobile application. So far, I use Spring Framework for the backend side, not for the front side or mobile side, not for the side where the user face, yeah, in the mobile phone, not like that, but using Spring Framework for mobile development means to build the back end, yeah, the back end of the mobile application, which is not seen user. I hope you understand what I'm. Okay. Is there any question again, Mr. Priandoko?
All right, we come to the next question. Is from Suryadi from Banyumas, Indonesia. On the presentation, you said that Spring support the event-driven architecture and how to connect it with message broker, for example, RabbitMQ. Is there some sort of adapter for do that?
Thank you very much for Sergio for the questions. Honestly, I've never make a research about the Rabbit MQ before, but this related to message broker. Uh, yeah, I think Spring Framework can be used to support the usage of the build of the message broker applications. And if there's a question, is there some sort of adapter or do that? I'm sorry, I'm still not having much more information or researching about that. So it's better for us. Let's learn together after this because we in the same city. Yeah, we can learn together about this. Thank you very much for the questions. I think Spring Framework can be used in any applications, including the message broker.
Okay. I think this is for the last question from Brion. How far Spring can integrate of web apps between cloud services?
Okay. You can build web applications by using Spring, and then you can integrate it through to cloud service like Amazon or other cloud services. But for me, so far, I still have no experiences to build applications that putting the applications into the cloud services like Amazon. But mostly in the most companies, most companies, for modern companies right now, they are trying to build applications that is related to cloud services like Amazon that I said to you. And yeah, that's good, interesting to learn more about that.
Thank you very much, Miss Alfie. I think that is the end of the second session. Let's give a clap to Miss Alfie. And let's have a photo session. Operator, ready? You can get the screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much for Miss Alfie. We come to the third session of today's conference. We have Mrs. Novita Setianti, SEMAKAKCA, from SWU Indonesia, that will present about financial record in digital marketing. Before we start, allow me to read the CV. She obtained the bachelor degree of economy from Dianamiswantoro University in 2011 and got a master of accountant and at Diponegoro University in 2017. She had accountant profession education at Tigobang University in 2015. She organized a couple of FIFA College, Semarang, from 2011 to 2016 as head of financial administration. Now, she is as a deputy chairman for general financial and civil in SWU. And she is the CEO of ICMI Purwokerto from 2019 till now. Without further ado, let's welcome our third speaker, Mrs. Novita Setianti. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sergio, the moderator, for the time given to me. I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of the SWU Seminar International in this time. I hope all of you have in a happy and healthy condition. Nice to meet you. In this time, let me introduce myself. Maybe a short introduction for me. My name is Novita Stianti, and you can call me Novita, or in the SWU, I always call it Bu Ita. Who in here is same with Miss. And I got a degree from Universitas Dianuswantoro Semarang. Next, I have got a master accounting from Diponegoro University. And now I live in Purwokerto, Central Java, Indonesia. And I'm a lecturer and also a vice rector in Semantic Media. I'm going to share. Okay, this time I will talk about financial recording for digital marketing. And the core of this material is how we manage our new business in digital marketing and how you record and adapt on your money in the business. And in the different time, maybe you can contact me in email. You can read this. Okay. I think introduce myself is short is enough, and the next we will come in material. And the first, we must as you know, financial management is an activity of planning, budgeting, checking, managing, controlling, searching, and storing funds on by
I apologize to Mrs. Novita. That is the technical problem that is fixing to operator.
Okay.
I'd like to inform to all participants, if you want to know further about the information of webinars, our webinar series, please visit the website of cis.swu.ac.id.
Okay, I'm sorry for the technician problems, and I will thank you, moderator, and I will continue my presentation. Yes, I will continue about financial management. Yes, in a new businessman, you must know what this financial and management is do in your business. Financial management is an activity of planning, budgeting, checking, managing, controlling, searching, and storing funds on an organization or company. So many things that financial management is only the active of and okay. In fact, financial management is very broad and important for the sustainability of a business. Of course, in a business, everything is used management financial, because when you get income and you do a cost, you must record in your financial record. Okay. Next, about financial management in the other definition is a company regulates activities or activities related to how to obtain working capital funding, use and allocate funds, and manage assets owned by the company to achieve company goals. This is a definition. And next, we can say of theory needed. This is by Abraham Maslow, psychology, and his work. He studied about human needs, and there is five a theory of needs from Abraham Maslow. The first is everyone needs a psychological. The second is for security, social ownership, needs for self-respect, and the top is the needs for self-actualization. And you can see from the picture here, there is a triangle. There is a triangle, and from here you can see the basic needs that human always need is psychological needs. For example, who don't want food, who don't want water, and I think all of you is needed everything in the psychological needs, like every morning, every evening, you need food, water, warmth, and rest. It's called psychological needs. And the top of the triangle is self-actualization. This is when you have or when you complete your needs activity, you will on the top needed. Okay, for the you can see this. When a need is met, it starts from the basic needs. When your needs is met, other needs will arise, which are in bottom hierarchy. If the physical needs have been satisfied, safety or security is a need that then arises. This need is basically the need to be free from both physical fear and deprivation basic psychology. In other words, it's a need for self-care. Yes, everyone, after they can complete their basic and their basic needs, they will up of their needs. It's about security needs, and they will come back after the basic needs is clear. And then when physical and security needs have almost been satisfied, need social or affiliation is a need that because of you a need to become and accept of various groups. When social needs are more dominant, the individual will try to connect with other people. There is a humanistic self or humanistic need. So everyone needs to join with social groups. So we need also satisfaction from others to see how someone to be. And the satisfaction of the self-esteem is result by feeling self-confidence, dignity, power of control. This matters begins when individuals feel useful and have influence in the environment. Okay, and of course, until the top needed is we find, step by step is always needed to everyone. Okay, and we must say about accounting because money is not related far about accounting, and your business is always do with accounting. Okay, the definition for accounting is a process of recording financial transaction pertaining to a business. The accounting process includes summarizing, analysis, and reporting this transaction to oversight agencies, regulators, and tax collection entities. The financial used in accounting are concise summary of financial transaction of an accounting period, summary of company's operation, financial position, and cash flow. Okay. And to make the recording of the accounting financial report, you can make in 1 month or 6 months, and also you can annually make in every years. Okay, and this is a commonly used accounting business or commonly account that you maybe you always hear or you easy listening of this account. The first is about cash. Cash is money in the physical form such as bills, coin, or banknotes. So cash is everything that very fluent you use to go and come your money. Yes, you can see what the cost. Cost is the amount of equivalent paid of charge from something. So when you have money and you get paid for something, there is you do the cost. And the third is payment. Payment is an action or process of paying someone or something of being paid. Yes. It's a relation of the cost and payment. The cost is about the something that charges, and payment is the action when you pay the cost. That's the difference. Sorry. And the fourth is account receivable. This is a money owed to a company paid its debtors. So when you still have a money from the others on the debtors, it means that you still have to save your account receivable. Okay. Next is savings. Savings, I think all of you knows because from the child maybe you was already learned by your parents to do your savings. So saving is the money when it's saved, especially through a bank or investment plan. So when you have a saving, you have a plan maybe to buy a car with a whole house and everything. You can use your savings. Income. Next is income. Income is money received, especially on a regular basis for work or through investment. So income is your money that received. Okay. Loss. Loss is an amount of money lost by a business or organization. Loss is happen when your business your money is lost by your activity of business. The next, profit. This is depends loss and profit. It's a financial gain, especially the difference between the amount earned and the amount spent in buying, operating, or purchasing something. Okay, and any account again in accounting, and you can search in the price tab here is a commonly used account in a business. Next, digital marketing growth, and I take this picture about January 2016. This is total population is about 7,395 in billions, and internet users, this is 3,419 billions. Active in social media users is about 2,307 billion. Unique mobile users is 3,790, and also active mobile social users is 1,968. Yes, this is from snapshot of the world-scale digital statistical indicator. Yes. It shows how the trend of digitalization is spreading 50% of world population is well connected with the internet. 66% of world population is active on mobiles, and 37% are actively participating in social media activities. So these growth stats are points towards the digital revolution as well as the growth of digital marketing career. And as James Medica, director of McKinsey Global Institute, also says that the digital revolution is making the job market work for you. He also says that online talent platform could boost labor. I think if we join in a digital marketing, we can work by ourselves and decrease from the people that doesn't get work. And I take the India's condition for example here, writing India condition of digital marketing at 2010. There are only a few brands utilizing the digital platform of marketing. So in 3 years later, only 16%, and they grew into 31% in 2014. So more than 40% of business depends only on digital marketing. Yes, I think it's happened in not also in India, but self condition in Indonesia. Indonesia growth of digital marketing is starting when since internet in Indonesia use increase it just about 2016. A survey conducted by Indonesian Internet Service Users Association shows that internet usage in Indonesia always increase by 10% every year. So not only here, India and Indonesia and all of the world marketing of digital is growth, is also growth. So yes, this is about 6 wait. This is in 2019 years. Before this, we see the growth in 2060, and this is 2019. The growth is very significant. Okay, the uses of TikTok, like Instagram, is used in all of the world. And mobile marketer and marketer dive recently published article highlight new data and major trends. And this year, marketing in 2019, case stats at the hub by marketing type. And mobile marketing at 2019, case stats at the hub. The infographic below the share of new social media marketing stats found in these 2 articles. Use this to improve your overall understanding of the state of social media marketing in 2019. Okay. This is of all the growth of digital marketing, not manual again, but everything now is used digital. Okay. Social referral traffic has become a major driver to retail e-commerce sites. For social referral to retail sites has grown by 110% over the past 2 years. It's growing faster than any other referral source. And Facebook, being the leading social platform, drives the most traffic. Instagram and Pinterest are the most natural and relevant platform for it. Twitter also plays a significant part in the game. And of course, the last is TikTok. TikTok's burst rate in-app sales surged 500% in May and years earlier. TikTok, being the new kid on the block, is working hard to get the attention of advertisers. So right now, if you want to sell something, your business, you can use TikTok, and you can grow up your activity, your imagination to sell your product. And next is how to manage financial digital marketing. That is, I think, the core of this point in this seminar. budget for digital service and needs planning a budget needs to be done so that you can control expenses such as monthly shopping costs, consumption costs, routine servicing of goods to vacation needs. So you must choose what your important needs. You have the opportunity to save some of your money to be budgeted for better expenditure item. For example, use your money as investment budget. You also need to plan a budget for various digital needs such as internet quota or digital wealth balance. The digital lifestyle today, digital needs must be met. Although there are not many of them, digital services are often a burden on expenses. A good and detailed budget planning will make your life easier. And the second clue, how you manage your digital marketing financial, is start changing payment methods to cashless. The way to manage digital style finance that you can try is to start cashless payment. This popular alternative transaction, which is also combined by Bank Indonesia. And here is Bank Indonesia, and maybe in other countries it's different place and different name. Bank Indonesia can answer the challenges of today's transaction. Cashless payment also have several advantages that are worth paying attention to, from not having to carry cash because thereby reducing the possibility of being stolen from your wallet. To minimize the inconvenience of carrying large amount of cash. So, in the tracking aspect, you can also find your financial expenditure, variable expenditure story to help you achieve financial goals. And the 3 is record all withdrawals. Look for errors with regular financial checkups. And there is 4 ways to manage your financial in digital marketing. Okay, and next, you can grouping of financial expenses in accounting. There is 2. The one is investment activity, and the second is operational activity. You must do your income, yes, to make this different. The first is investment. This section includes the transaction of acquisition and sale of fixed asset of the company. It's just for investment needed. And the second is report of summary of cash receipt and cash payment for the company's normal operating activities. So, this is a clue. Do not use all income for investment alone, and do not use all of the income for operation only. Manage your income wisely because this will support the development of your business. And this is example for the cost, like YouTubers and everything that will sell the product. Okay, you can know about financial reporting. There is 5 financial reporting. The first is income statement. The component that influence in income statement is cost and income. If income more than cost, you can get profit. But if cost more than income, your business is say loss. The second is cash flow statement, record of funding activity, investment, and operational activity. The third is capital statement. Yes, this component is owner's net income and right. The fourth is balance sheet, and the fifth is notes to financial statement. There is I think the matter is for me is over. Thank you for your attention. I hope today there are new knowledge for us and just in our new business. Okay, keep spirit, keep healthy, and keep happy for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Novita, for invaluable insight. Before we come to the question and answer session, allow me to summarize that financial management provides funds for the right campaign and for the right time. Second one, financial management helps keep marketers on an investment. And the last one, financial management adds financial acumen to creativity. Now I will read the question from the Q&A feature. The first question is from Altea from Philippines. The question is how to record good finance.
Okay, thank you to this is boy or girl, yes, because the name is not familiar here. Okay, it's from Philippines. How to record good finance? To record a good finance, you must separate your money and like from the material. Maybe I will open it. Okay. This is you must separate your income so that you can operationalize your budget is just two activities. You must separate your investment activities and operational activities. Don't mix your investment and operating activities. And the next, you must record for the financial reporting. Yes, this is a component that you can record about income statement, cash flow, capital statement, balance sheet, and also not the financial statement. But I say to the beginner businessman that usually use in the first to record the financial, just report or just write down your income statement, because income statement is just if your income more than your cost, you can see that your business is getting profit. But if you get cost more than income, your business is can say loss, and you must do everything that can make your business is profit. Every business want to make a big profit, not loss. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. We come to the next question is from Joko from Indonesia. The question is, what is the good effect if the cash flow from operating activities increases?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joko. Okay, what is the good effect if the cash flow from operating activities is increased? Okay, we can talk about what business with large business or digital marketing business. If we talk about a large digital large business, not digital marketing. Operating activities, for example, is to give a honor to employee, to maybe rent a building and everything. If your operation operation cost is larger than investment, I think your business is hard to grow because there is much balance and between operational and investment. Okay, like that.
Actually, that is the last question for the session. We ran out of time. Thank you so much for Mrs. Novita. This is the end of the third session. Let's give a clap for Mrs. Novita. Let's have a group photo first. Operator ready, so we can get the screenshot again. All right. I count to three. 1, 2, 3. Big smile. Cheese. Thank you very much, Mrs. Navida.
You're welcome.
We come to the last session for today. We have Chandra Bagas Pambudi Askom from Indonesia that will present about the creativity and easy way to become a content creator. Before we begin, allow me to read the CV. Bagas obtained the bachelor degree of information in 2019. He is also the freelance website and Android developer and owns the brand of Bagas Tun. He is the creator of YouTube channel for Edit Asik and Coding Asik. Bagas will have about 30 minutes to present the material. Without further ado, let's welcome our last speaker today, Chandra Bagas Pamudi. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, cek. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The first, my voice is here for you. Okay, I will share screen my material. Okay. Okay, before I start my presentation, dear Widya Utama, dear Chairman of Widya Utama, dear speaker, dear webinar commit, and happy audience wherever you are. Before I'm going to deliver my speech, I hope our audience to thank our God, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, for He has bestowed us abundant mercies. So, due to this, we are able to attend this peaceful meeting. And thanks for moderator, Mr. Stinggi Wilandoko, who has brought me time to speak about the creativity and easy way to become a content creator. Okay, wait. Okay, this webinar. Okay, my topic is the creativity and easy way to become a content creator. My name is Chandra Bagas Pambudi from Indonesia. You can call me Bagas. I am content creator of Coding Asik and Edit Asik. Because I like edit and I like programmer, and then I am create content with program and Edit Asik. Okay. Before I start my my sharing, I will explain about my profile. Okay, my name is Bagas Pamudi Eskom. You can call me Bagastun. Okay, the first, my education. My education as one informatic engineering at STEMIC Wijatama 2020 to 2019. And then organization and achievement SPU 2018 and our student executive board. And then the second best graduate of 2019. And the other, I have a business brand. I honor brand of Bagasun. And then my activities is freelance web and other development. And then next, I'm creator of YouTube in Edit Asik and Coding Asik. And then you can contact me. You can contact me by email at chandrabaspamudi@gmail.com or via IG at Bagastun. Okay. Before I start, I can webinar. In this agenda for my presentation is the one about understanding about a content. A content is what and why and how to create a content. And then the second, the secret of creating content. You know, the content have a secret to you to know for you. And then the three, the result of creating a content. And then the four, how to create a content. Okay, I have four for my presentation in this time. Okay, disclaimer: the material I will convey is a combine of personal experience from website, article, social media such as YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and the other, as well as book that I read that I summarize them together. This is of personal experience, then will be one of my story. Okay. We talk about data social media user in the world. You can see this picture. The world most used social platform. The first Facebook first, and then YouTube. You can see YouTube, and then WhatsApp, and the last Quora. You can see Twitter, Reddit, and then the other. Survey according to Hootsuite. This is a survey from Hootsuite in January. The first Facebook have 2,000,000, 70. And then the YouTube, you can see, and then WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. You can see the market of Facebook, YouTube, and then Instagram. This is very advantage for you and for me and the new business. We can get the market of Facebook and then YouTube, WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, and very can get margin. And then we can talk about Indonesia because I am from Indonesia. Data social media user in Indonesia. And then you can see that about the picture. Media sosial paling populer di Indonesia. This is Indonesian language. The first YouTube get social media, this social media survey for GWI, Global Web Index. And then the YouTube get 80% increase to 94%. Wow, this is the one year can get maybe 6%, increase 6%, And then the WhatsApp you can see increase to 80%. And then the last and the Twitter is most popular in Indonesia. You can see that you can maybe you always use this platform. Maybe I like YouTube, and then WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all to create a content and then create a margin for my business. You can see that, yeah. And then how much 94% internet user in Indonesia with berita1.com. This is research from berita1.com. So 200 million people we can count this person. 94% can get for the a million. We can get 170 million. Wow. And then this is YouTube user. We can highlight for YouTube because I am a content creator for YouTube. And then we can conclude about if we can get the market of the YouTube user or the social media of YouTube. You can imagine this. If we get 1% of the market, we can get 8.5 billion. Wow, this is 1% of the YouTube user. And then if we can get 0.1% with IDR 5K, we can get 150 million. If we can get this percent, we can get 8.5 million. This is market. This is market to you to get the margin or profit to your business. We can I talk about the plan because you can you must be know about the market of the social media before you create a content. And then the next, there is a question: how to take advantage of this market? Okay, you can see that about a YouTube platform is 94%. How to take advantage of this platform YouTube? And then this is the process of digital marketing. If you follow the presentation of Miss Novita, this is relate for my presentation because content creator, digital marketing is have a relationship for business. I have a picture for a digital marketing process. We can imagine this image. The first in this picture, you can see this is a product, and then this is social media, and then this is audience. Maybe the product, and then social media, audience. Okay, the next product for this recommended for owner business. Maybe because I am owner business. This is I have some product face mask and the bucket head. I need content. I need a content of my business to see audience the social media because audience must know with my business. And then social media is sebenarnya is content creator. Content creator he can create content, and then the audience is the customer. Okay, you can know you can understanding about the process. The product is owner. Social media is a content creator, and then audience is a customer. Okay, this is their relationship for this. The owner maybe need content to share about his product to customer. The content creator maybe need owner to have some money to his shop, and then owner content creator is make money, and then with sell product of owner, and then the sell service because owner or content creator. Again, I highlight to content creator in this year. Okay, there is another question. What is the secret to creating content? The secret for Indonesian rahasia untuk membuat sebuah konten. Okay, the first, you must know about how your passion. Know what is your passion. Your passion. Maybe I like. I have a passion with content. I have passion with coding, programmer with web development, and then under development, and the other. This is my passion. What is your passion? You can ask for yourself. What do you like? What do you like? Maybe like me, content, make a content, and then make a programming, and then the other. Then what are you good at? Maybe this is for your skill. For your skill you have, you can share for the people in the social media. You have skill this. Okay. And then what makes you excited to do it? This is maybe example. I have a passion coding, and then I excited for my experience for the coding and then content and the other. I very excited. Then this is my passion. Okay, what makes you willing to spend more time? And then maybe you can spend your time in the morning or the night to create content, to create your passion, and the other. You're not feeling bad. You're not feeling maybe lazy and the other. Okay, this is example for passion. The first is graphic design, and then the second photo and videography. You can ask to yourself what is your passion, and then the programmer is write a code to build application to Android and website. And then the music you can build if you feel for cover for the song for the band of the country. You can just music and the other. Okay, this is this slide or this time you can ask for yourself what is your passion to create a content. This is most important because if you know your passion, if you follow your passion, and then you create with your passion, maybe you can very long to create a content, not boring, not and the other. You maybe you spirit for this creating content. Okay. Next. Okay. By knowing your passion, you will be able to decide for your target audience or niche audience. And then maybe my passion is to create a content and a programming. And then a target audience maybe sure of likes programming, likes the content, people likes programming, and people likes content. This is my target audience or niche audience. Okay, and then okay, after that, find where your niche usually get together. This is related for the community. Is it on Facebook or Instagram? And then on Twitter, this is you can research for this niche for your target audience. Usually get together. Okay, your niche. This is sample of, or you can imagine this. Your niche, and you can find your community in the Facebook. Or Instagram, on Twitter. I give your example for this this problem. My niche is programming. The community usually get together in Facebook or maybe in YouTube, and then I will create content to people in Facebook, and then to people to YouTube, and then maybe I try to create content in Instagram, but maybe next until later. Okay. And then find out. Okay. And the next, what problem exists in your niche, in your the community for your target audience? You can get the problem of your niche. Maybe I give you example for this this niche or this target. First, graphic design. Okay. The first people in the community, graphic design have a problem for like this. People who want to learn a design. Okay, people who want to learn design to be able to make logos. The design, you can create a logo, you can create a banner, you can create like design for your famous designer. And then the two people who want to learn design, so they can create user interface. User interface is the part of web development or Android development or the other. This is very important. And then the third, people who want to learn design, so they can work in companies. This is the problem for graphic design. And then the example for photo and videography. Learn photo and videography. Learn photography to open business. You can see that in your title. And then the next, you can do videography to become a YouTuber like me. Maybe my hobby, my passion is editing and the program. You can do videography to become a YouTuber. I'm a YouTuber, so I learn the photo and videography to build channel in the YouTube. And then the last, run photo and videography to make a film. In this year, in this time, you can see the content for TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. This is very much for content for film, and then creator and graphic design very much. And the program. Okay. And the program, learn program to create your own online shop. If you follow the presentation, can learn about the first learn a program to create your own online shop. This make a sense about programmer here. And then to learn a program to be a hacker. You can be to be a hacker with learn a program. And then the last, learn a program for making a game. With you can get a money, you can get a margin for your business. Yes, this is my experience. And in music, learn guitar to be famous. Like artists in your country. Maybe you can start with you learn guitar. Okay, learn music to become a music teacher. Maybe music teacher. Yes, learn to sing to win a competition. You can learn to sing win the competition. And that's all. That's all is program for your market. If you know your community problem, you can write, you can have an idea to create a content for solve this problem market of the community. Next, by ignoring the problem that exists in your niche or target market, create educational content to provide solution problem in your niche or target audience. Okay, the short secret to creating content. This is short secret. The first, you can see you can have you have passion or skill. Programmer who like to create a website. Maybe I am. Program niche. You can get people who want to create their own online shop. This is the problem for market, for my market. Solution. Provide educational content about how to create a website. If you can the problem, if you solution, if you know what community solution, you can get money, you can get anything other, you can get influencer to solve this market problem. And the first example for content, the advantage of having your own website. You can educational content about programming, and then two, tutorial for creating website. If the community know what your content, maybe you can get the followers, you can get a subscriber to promote your business, and this is important for the content creator. Tips for creating an SEO friendly website. Okay, this is fill in the content according to your niche. This is example for my niche. You can get idea for your niche. And the next, decide a platform to posting your content. This is very important because we likes different content, like different platform. Find out what media do you like to deliver content. Okay, I have four category, the media. In the first, video and the photo, voice, and the type. Okay. The problem is YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, and the blogger. This is the problem is famous. And the media video, you can use this platform like YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. Because this is very very nice to use this platform to create video content. And then the media photo. The media photo is okay. Next, media photo is you can use Instagram or Facebook. Okay, and the media voice. And the media voice is Spotify. You can like maybe like Mr. Kobuzer, Didi Kobuzer for famous in Indonesia can create content like this Spotify because the Didi Kobuzer is make a content in the YouTube. Media type you can choose Facebook, Twitter, and then a blogger. This is a platform to you to create a content, to make a content, and then to get your profit to your business. Okay. And next, the result of creating content. This is a content creator. We can I have explained for the result. This is content creator. This is Indonesian language. Nice education content. You can create a content. This is create, yeah. Content creator create nice education content, and then get nice education content. We can get target subscriber follower. If we can, if I maybe for example, if I create a content for programming, sure, target subscriber follower maybe likes programming. Okay, and then this is offer to product and service. You can sell product and service, and then you can get this is get. Okay, you can get the income. I have example for you. Sample platform Instagram and the YouTube. Coding Asik make tutorial to creating a website. Okay, you know. And the offer you can website development service like me. And then get with website development service, you can get income. This is the process how content creator get income, how to content creator get margin for this business. And then the most important thing is to know your passion and who is your target market. How to create content on social media. You can, and then next, make sure you have desired the target market and platform that you will use. Look for your competition as reference. You can just maybe three competition or three account to reference for you, which you think has good content and has the potential to compete. This okay. The first one, see what content they create, like video or imaging or maybe type. How do they posting the content? You can see for your competitor. And then what strategies are used to optimize content? Okay. And then make a different from your competition. This is very important because if you have a different for yourself, for your content, you can get especially for your target audience, for your subscriber, for your follower. The follower or the subscriber maybe know if you have a different, you know. And then find out what's trending. the content maybe relate for the trending relationship for trending and trending content. You can access the website trend .google.co.id, and then this website is very useful for you. So to sort of trending in the world, in the Indonesia, in the other country. This is you can get the idea for your content. Maybe like a Canva. This is topic pastel warna, bingo topik, thumbnail, and the other. And the keyword you can see that. This is you can use the website trending content using the keyword tool. Okay, and then using the keyword tool. The first one you can use this website keywordtool.io. This is interface for the keyword tool.io. And the second, you can use keywordplanner.net to to find your idea, find your niche, find your content. Maybe like a Canva, tutorial Canva, painting, and the other. And the last, you can app for string.com. Okay, this tool, keyword tool, can provide can make content of you to trend, with the keyword tool. And then read content ideas after analyzing, This is example niche Canva. With you can get a tutorial creating an animation video. The first one, tutorial creating design with Instagram. This is idea for your content, for your topic, for your target audience. Okay. And then tutorial creating thumbnail YouTube and the other. You can experience about the content. So maybe you can see competitor, you can see and other creator to make your different content. And then for ideas into the application, if you have ideas, you can pour ideas into the application. Application design. The first, you can use the application design in smartphone. Smartphone, if you use. First one, Canva. Canva is very useful to create a design. And Pixel Lab maybe to create a design very nice. And the PicArt. This is the tool of the application for my content to create a content. And then Adobe Photoshop. This is in the PC or laptop, Adobe Photoshop, and then Adobe Photoshop is maybe reference to create manipulation of the photo. And Adobe Illustrator, this is reference to create design vector, and then like Corel Draw. Maybe this application. And then application video editing. The first in the smartphone, this is KineMaster, VN, and CapCut. Maybe I like because the CapCut is very friendly, user friendly for me. What is your application video editing on your smartphone? Maybe though I have. And then the next in the application for your editing video, you can choose Sony Vegas, Adobe Premiere, and then Filmora. This is for the beginner. This is for the expert to create video like nice and create. Okay. And the next, upload the content that has been created. If you done with your content, maybe you must be upload the content to maybe to audience see what's your content. And then this is for example for my content in Instagram. You can follow the Instagram at Bagasun. This is my content, and then the upload. Okay, this is for Indonesian language. Sini cara tepat menambahkan font di Pixel Lab. This is nice. This is nice or target audience or passion for the design. And then this is the topic of content. You can upload this content to your social media. And then you will pass the hardest step, which is consistent. Okay, this is step is very hardest, because the content creator maybe fight for time, for money, fight for maybe hope to create content. This is you can consistent to create a content. This is very hardest. If you start to be a content creator, you can fight, or you fight for consistent. And then the last, analyze the content you upload. This is insight for my my Instagram content. This is you can see that maybe this is a count of likes, and then a comment, and then share maybe 0, and then a save. Oh wow, a save is maybe. And then did you get a good response for the audience? This response, okay. The response, the response for your audience? You can create, you can type for your book, to respond your audience. And then that's the content that you create, provide the solution. Okay, maybe you can see this for the save. Maybe I get some rest, or and then is the strategy being implemented right? Okay, the strategy of my content right or no? If your content is implemented not solution, you can change your strategy. You can change your content with the other content strategies. And then by analyzing content, you can conclude and implement what strategies to do and what type of content your audience want. Because content is what people need, not what maybe because content is what people need, not what you want. What you want. Because content is solution of the market problem, not what you want. Okay, you can download this material in this my Instagram. This is a link. My presentation in this time. You can download for the link. My Instagram Bagas. Okay, thank you for my presentation. I am Sandi Basmudi, the content creator. And then I have a channel called Asik to learn website and Android. And then I have a channel Edit Asik to learning optimization, editing, and more about content. You can subscribe this channel to you to learn more. Okay, maybe the time and place I return to the moderator for Mr. Fendi. Thank you. I hope it is useful.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bagas, for the incredible sharing and presentation. Before we go to the Q&A session, allow me to summarize that The much you understand yourself, the better your content is. And the rest is about your consistency. Now, I would like to directly give a chance for the two people who raise hand. Brendelin Valles, are you there? Hello? Okay. Next we want Benedict Erlangi. How are you? Benedict Erlano. If you have question, you can directly say to the speaker. Okay. All right. I will read the question from the Q&A question. The first is from Lenny from Indonesia. When making content.
Okay. What is the problem for the making content? Again, thank you for your ask for me. What is the problem for making a content? The problem for making content for a general, if my experience is problem is consistency. You know, its consistency is very hard for me, for the content creator. And then the second and the next is problem is maybe for device to you to create a content. And then and the next maybe my experience is to search idea. So this idea is this is very urgent and very hard for me. This is, and then if you ask for the problem for making a content for your target audience, you can get or you can search for the competitor. You can get the idea for your maybe for your community or your audience, and then you can create a content in the social media right now to create business plan, to create your subscriber up. Okay, maybe this is for my jawaban. Yeah. Okay, then the next question.
Okay, the next question from Rauf. This is the last question. Rauf from Saudi Arabia. The question is, who is inspiring you to make some content?
Okay. This is nice question for you. Thank you. What is my inspiration to create a content? Maybe my inspiration is I need come to me. Yes, this is my inspiration. I have some book. This is for my inspiration. This is Denny Santoso. He explained about the content. He's about the business plan. He's about the any other topic. This is my content. And then the other for the YouTuber, like Sandra Leo, you can get Sandra Leo. This is famous on YouTube. This is maybe for my content. This is for my content. Okay. Then the first is the maybe the business. I I I need some margin. I need some income. This is the way to create a margin to make a content we can have, and then we can because I like programming, because I like editing, and then I will create a content to share to people. The Islam to prophet to you to share your skills, share your what you have skill. Okay, this is for my experience to me to create a content.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bagas. This is the end of the session. Let's give a clap for Mr. Bagas. Okay, let's have a group photo first. The operator. Ready? Okay, I count to three. 1, 2, 3. Big smile. Thank you very much, Mr. Bagas.
Okay, you're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our webinar today. To all speakers, thank you very much for sharing your invaluable knowledge and experience. To all participants, thank you for joining us today. We hope this webinar has been nothing but useful for you all. I remind you to stay tuned on the second webinar on Monday with cloud technology, digital marketing, and creator. Again, we would like to remind you to fill out your details in the link below to receive your certificates of participation. The link is only open for 3 hours for now, so please fill it out immediately. The recording of today's webinar will be available in YouTube 1 week from now, the soonest. Don't forget to subscribe Stemik Widya Utama channel. Before the end, let's make participants. The operator. So let's turn on the camera. Are you ready, dear brother? Not yet? All right. Okay, here we go. Let's count to three and big smile. 1, 2, 3. Big smile. One more time. Okay, three times. So that the operator can get the screenshot of all of you. 1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay, 1, 2, 3, cheese. Once again. Okay, once again, cheese. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheese. With your freestyle and a big smile. Okay. Okay. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. See you on Monday on the second day of our webinar series. Have a nice good day and bye-bye.